Now that we've been able to bring in our point data and the image layers, it's worth thinking about how we're actually going to use these to compare to the point intercept field data that we collected while we were out there. And just to recap what those data looked like, this is a Excel spreadsheet produced by Group 2, and they've got their first transect here from 2A to 2B. And at point number 1, there was lava. At point number 2, there was still lava. And then point number 4, they got into Ali, and so on, right? And they stopped at point 25, and then they started a new transect down here. So 25 points, and then the top canopy, and if they had additional sort of above, you could record that. But just focusing on this guy right here, for lava, for example, we can calculate the percent of the time that they interacted with lava or came into contact. And so there are 3 points, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 13 out of 25. So just over here real quick is equal to 13 divided by 25, 52. So 52% of the time, based on the point intercept data, they came into contact with lava. And we can actually do a very similar thing here in this ArcMap environment, and we can calculate what percent of the time in between two different points do we see these different land cover types. And we'll do it for how about CD? So and this is this group. So this is Trimble 2, and this is their CD. And we could do this by dropping a bunch of individual points in 1 meter increments from the start to the end. That's certainly one way to do it, maybe a bit of a hassle. So I'm going to show you a second way to do it. And there's other ways to do this as well, right? But I'll show you one technique that you're able to use if you like, and you can try other things too if you're interested. And what we're going to do is basically we're going to draw a line. We're going to draw a line from here to here, and then we're going to cut that line up into different segments based on the land cover type that we interact with. And then we'll be able to count up the lengths of those different segments. And we can use that as an estimate for the different land cover types interacted with or that we come into contact with in the imagery. And that will give us an alternative data set that we can then compare to the field data. Okay, so we want to start creating some new new data sets here that are going to be called polylines. And we're going to do that via this catalog tool. This catalog tool allows us to create different things. And if you've never done this before, it's not a big deal. But basically, you navigate to the place where you're working. You're going to right click, and you're going to create a new thing. And in this case, I'm going to ask you all to create not a shapefile, but something called a file geodatabase. And the reason for doing that is it will automatically do some length calculations for you, and it will save you a lot more work. So we want to make a new file geodatabase, and we're just going to call this PWW 2018 work. That's a name that I'm going to use. Great. And then if you right click on this guy, inside here, I want to make a new feature class. Sorry, that's cutting off a little bit, but a new feature class. And I want it to be line features, okay? And I want this guy to be trim 2 lines. Great. And so that's the name that I'm going to use for this one. And so I'm going to say next, and I want it to be WGS 1984 UTM zone 5 north. So that's the coordinate system I want to use for that. And if you have a hard time finding that, it's under projected, down at the bottom, UTM, down at the bottom, WGS 84, northern hemisphere, and zone 5 north. That's what we want. This, you can just accept the defaults. You can accept the defaults here. And this field name, we're actually going to have a new field name here. We're going to call it type, which is going to be for land cover type. And I should have made that a text. Hopefully this is gonna work out all right. I didn't specify that was to be a text. And we want to make it from 1C, excuse me, to 1D. And so if you have your editor guy up here, you want to start editing. You're going to choose the one you're interested in. So for me, it's Trimble 2 lines. Say OK. And this is the icon to create features, which is this guy. And we want to make a line. Perfect. And we want to start here. We want to go up to here. And we did it. And double click. Perfect. So we've got this new line. I'm going to open the attribute table, and it gives us the length of the line, about 25 meters, a little less than that, but that's fine. We've got some error associated with this guy. And type, yeah, we can type things in there, so that's good. Okay, now this is the interesting part, or the fun game. So we want to zoom in on this line. If my computer will respond. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is actually to basically divide the line based on the land cover class that it comes into contact with. And the way you're going to do that is with this split tool over here. So this split tool. So, and you're going to, and you see it's making this red dot here, and basically wherever you click, that's going to then split that line into multiple segments. And so it looks to me like I'm out here in rock, and then I come to here, and then I get into some kind of a shrub or a hedge. I'm not exactly sure what that is from the imagery. And so I successfully split it once, and now I want to select this guy again, and I want to split him again. So now at the end of this green vegetation guy, split. Great. And then, so this is now all in, looks like I get some green vegetation over here, get my split guy going, and split that. Great. I'm going to select this guy again, and then I'm going to split this guy again, split, fantastic, and so on, right? So you just kind of go down the line here. So I'm in rock, and now I'm in veg, and so on. And if I right click on this guy, I can see these different sections. So this is the big one that I haven't finished yet, and this is this guy right here. So this is actually rock. So or lava. I'm going to type lava. Great. And then this guy is, and I'm not, just from the imagery alone, I'm not able to say what that is, but I'm just going to call it shrub. But in your notes, if you know which what you interacted with, you should be able to actually give it the proper name. This next segment, we're back into lava. This next segment, we're back into some kind of a shrub, and so on. Right? And we can see from these sections, this is the length of the section, or again, some kind of percentage. So once you segment this line, you'll have these data, and then you can add them up and say what percent of the entirety of the shape length was lava, for example, and then what percent of it was hopefully broken down more specifically than just a shrub. And then with that information, and then bringing back your point intercept data, actually I want to look at this one, right? We said the lava, we did this one, this is like 52%, right? So you'll be able to make this direct comparison between the field data and between the drone imagery that we acquired. And that should allow you to have some analysis you can incorporate into your report.